Welcome to Capzeye. You saw some great videos. It's all Texas music, and I do it here every Saturday night from midnight to 1:30. And I like to occasionally have guests on that have something to say, and this man no doubt has something to say. It's the one and only Alex Jones, and actually, if you're watching the other Access channel now, he's probably on.
and that wasn't done on purpose. They just give you the times you get.
He was kind enough. I actually saw him in the hallways on the way in. And I was like, dude, I got nobody coming on, man. You want to come help a brother out?
Hey, it's always great to be on, Mr. Pruitt.
I promised him it would not be 5 years.
And some good music. I wanted to. I mean, I was envisioning myself at the Broken Spoke eating a chicken fried steak.
He was telling me, I was like, chicken fried steak, huh? I'm gonna have to get me some fixins there, man.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So, well, we're gonna be on tonight till 1:30 a.m. I don't know how long Alex can stick around, so I got to get to the meat of the subject with the man. But I had some issues I'd like to discuss with him about the current state of affairs. But and I know you people at home, obviously the lines are lit up, and you'd like to participate, and we'll consider that as an option. But what's going on, Alex? What's going on with Alex Jones right now?
You mean me personally?
Yeah.
Just doing my radio show. We're on in quite a few cities, small, mainly alternative radio stations, and the websites are expanding. We've got prisonplanet.com, and which I see there, and thanks for that.
Yeah, yeah.
Prisonplanet.tv now, and of course we also have the good old INFOWARS.com, which gets better and better, and we're exposing the ruthless nature of the ruling elite. And we're trying to get people to get out of their basic denial and face this tyranny that is growing. I mean, America is dying right now, and the people that are telling you to give up your freedoms are the ones who really carried out the terror attacks to scare you into accepting that. And so we are having greater success than ever at reaching people. I mean, Dave, I tell this story a lot because it's the best news I've got. You know, they'll have a poll in the national news of, well, we called 2,000 people randomly, and this is our poll of what people think. They don't tell you that the question is, though, to keep you safe, will you give your liberties up? That's a twisted question.
Exactly.
As if you give your liberties up, you're safe.
Yeah.
But I've done my own poll. I've done over 1,500 radio interviews, not just my own little syndicated show, on liberal stations, conservative stations, Christian stations, rock and roll stations, and on average, we'll take 20, 30 calls, and maybe one caller calls in who disagrees. And I'm laying out all this, supposedly radical, incredible stuff. 5 years ago on my own local radio show, half the callers disagreed with me. Now on my own syndicated show, I beg for people to call and disagree. Yeah. Of course, Access is the exception. We'll have people who want to call in and cuss and yell, who are Ritalin victims. But
God bless the Ritalin victims.
Exactly. But I mean, out there in the political debate, people don't trust this government. They know something's wrong. And so in my own little poll I've conducted, I've seen a massive shift, a huge awakening, and that's encouraging. So Peter Jennings and Dan Rather and O'Reilly and all these neocons can sit up there and tell us we love slavery, everybody's buying the line. People are not buying it.
I just thought it's a more interesting time for someone as yourself because I remember, when I first heard of Alex Jones, and there's that crazy guy screaming with the veins bulging out of his head on the fucking television every day. And I was like, he means it, man. And everybody questioned you. Everybody was like, what are you talking about? And you had to fight to prove these things. And now it's becoming more of a state of affairs where my friend was saying, Alex said this, and I turned on CNN, and there it was. And so today, whether it be people are taking their own means and investigating further for themselves to find out what the truth is or their version thereof that they're willing to accept, makes it easier for people who have an opinion that's other than the norms, like yourself, to be seen, to be heard, and to be taken seriously.
Well, by the alternative media challenging the mainstream media, they're being forced to report. Yeah. You see, they do these big statistical analysis. These big think tanks and these big marketing firms. And as you know, that broadcast television and even cable television, I don't mean news, but entertainment period, has lost 45% of its audience in the last 4 years. Yeah. And it's accelerating. So, and people are on the internet reading alternative news, they're doing other things, they're doing research, they're watching videos online, that they're listening to alternative bands. I mean, basically the establishment is losing control of the information spectrum.
Scares them bad, man. You can see it.
Yeah, it scares exactly. It's scaring the hell out of them. This is a renaissance. The renaissance was the printing press, the alternative to what the government was saying. So we're seeing a new renaissance. That's why the government's blowing stuff up and trying to scare you and doing all this. But we're also forcing them them to report on all this. I mean, people called me freaking out 6 months ago. Have you seen Vanity Fair? Have you seen Vanity Fair? They admit the Bushes flew out 160 of the bin Ladens and are in business with them. And my God, you were right, man. How did you know about this? And I go, well, it was in the Associated Press and the Miami Herald, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's not like all this, they don't control every reporter. So an AP reporter will report some huge story. Well, the CIA ran drills of flying planes into buildings on 9/11 on that morning, and they ordered NORAD to stand down. AP. But then that story dies. It's never denied. It's confirmed. It just goes on. And so I go. So all I do is read the news wires and go, well, here's this, here's that. So we go over those facts, and then later it percolates back up because we just keep beating the drum and screaming our heads off. And then I also have a lot of government sources and other people. But also I know how elites operate. I mean, there were propaganda manuals written by Caesar of how to lie and condition the public. And so this stuff's thousands of years old.
Yeah.
And I mean, Caligula married his horse and fired the Senate. The Aztecs were eating their children's hearts. People that get into positions of power are ruthless. Average good people, we feel bad about ourselves if we're rude to our neighbor or get in an argument with our wife or husband. These people don't have consciences. They enjoy evil. They're in power and they're in control. And then we're naive going, oh no, that couldn't be possible. Evil doesn't exist. You're denying the Hitlers. You're denying the Stalins. And this happens every time in history when these mass killers come along, and it's the norm, not the exception. Mm-hmm. America's been the exception. Mm-hmm. All this evil comes along. People deny it till afterwards. People, you better stop denying it.
So now we're seeing these photos from the war, the prisoners of war, and first, what was the thing? They were saying, oh, it's limited, small circles of individuals who, and then now we've got the people saying, well, these photos were staged or they're planted by the Democrats to rile up Bush supporters and Bush himself. And what's your take on that?
It's a very sophisticated, long-winded question and answer.
Sure.
But let me try to boil it down. If you watch my show 6-7 years ago, I was talking about torture every day. I mean, at the end of World War II, thousands of top Nazis were brought to this country because they were smart. They were evil, but they were smart. They ran our rocketry. They ran, the telecommunications, secret programs for the government. They also ran the narcotics trafficking for the CIA because the CIA couldn't find Americans who do this, so they used a bunch of Nazis. I mean, they brought conservatively 14,000 of them in.
Wow.
And Joseph Mengele, he was the guy who would take little kids and sew them together and cut their eyes out, cut their heads off, all that. Well, according to Bush, nice stuff.
Creative,
blowing off steam, having a good time. Yeah. Limbaugh said that about the raping of the women. I have that clip on my website.
Wow.
They're just blowing off some steam, folks. They just rape people and beat people to death. It's blowing off steam. But I thought we went and busted Saddam because he had rape rooms,
which was actually Thanksgiving, maybe.
Which was actually true, though. Saddam was trained by our government as a hitman in '54. His people were trained through the '70s and '80s at School of America's how to torture. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So they brought Mengele over and others, and they set up torture schools, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Damn.
So everybody's saying, is it true? Is it official? Is it is it fake? Is it true? It's been the official policy at Fort Benning. They teach the troops how to hook electrodes to someone's genitalia, and how to crank and create the wattage in the field.
Wow.
They teach them how to torture somebody's children in front of them. 2 years ago, they had the CIA section chief of the Washington Post. Remember all the articles, torture's good on the news, we're going to torture. And he was in there going, yeah, we take people to third-party countries to torture them, and we also do stuff to their children in front of them. And then Alan Dershowitz, the liberal, comes out and says torture's good. And so everybody's seen, also, not just the news and the print media saying torture's good, Everybody's seen 24 and Threat Matrix, all these TV shows where the good guys have to torture you. See, there's also that mass conditioning in the fiction level, because most people get their news and form their ideas from fiction.
Absolutely.
That's the real dominant force. Forget the news. And so all that's going on. And so there's another question. We've seen these photos and these videos for 2+ years from Afghanistan and Iraq. Why are they coming out now? Why did CBS release these now? And the answer is clear. So that, and I said this before the war started, we'll be humiliated, we'll engage in all these abuses, then the UN will come into Iraq, controlled by the same people, and play the part of the good cop. And they will take off some of the abuse, but still dominate the people, and they'll praise them. And we'll all be publicly embarrassed and have to leave, but our troops will still stay there and serve under the UN. How did I know that? Because Julius Caesar in the Battle for Gaul, written 2,000 years ago, explained this, how he would manipulate different tribes in Germany and France, Gaul and the Visigoth kingdoms. I mean, this is, Machiavelli the Prince 500 years ago. This is classic stuff. It's like Baron Harkonnen in Dune going, I want you to squeeze them and squeeze them and squeeze them. And then after they've been crushed, I'm going to send Fade, beautiful Fade, he's going to save you. So this is just old empire craft. There's actual textbooks, yes. There's actual textbooks on all this. And so they're going to send the saviors soon. So they release all this, but then so we domestically accept it, then they go, oh, but look, they cut our guy's head off, the Berg video. I don't have time to get into all that, but that was CIA. That guy's basking in the Maui sun with Whitman, Price, and Haddad. Their debt to society paid in full. This is the Running Man.
Wow.
He's total CIA. It's now admitted.
That's wild.
Totally staged. So they bring that in to recondition you that it's okay domestically, but internationally, we're all being demonized. And then they'll also focus in on this England chick posing, over naked bodies. But then they hold back the thousands of photos and video, which Antonio Tagundu's own report, this 2-star general who did the report, he admits, they've confessed, they were ordered by the CIA, these private contractors, to rape women, to beat people to death. And this is all in the report, been out for 3 weeks. That gets ignored, the Army's own report. They focus in on, oh, they beat somebody up, well, and then another Army report, which the Red Cross got a copy of, and this is in the Associated Press, the actual report. It's on INFOWARS.com and PrisonPlanet.com. 70 to 90%, depending on which of the 32 camps in Iraq, 70 to 90% in the 32 camps in Iraq, we're just focusing on Abu Ghraib, were picked up at checkpoints and are totally innocent. It's just whole sweeps, whole towns. It's families. They're taking children in there. And yes, folks, and it's in the Army report, raping children. Now, you sicko neocons, you explain to me how the hell, because I hear talk radio, they're saying this is all good. I'll shut up. It's a long answer. That's why I went into that.
That's cool. That's a good touch of base. I want to find somebody who's got something to say. You think we can find one?
No.
I'm going to try.
We'll try.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find one of you guys who has something to say. I'm going to play a couple videos, and if Alex still got time to stick around,
sure. Yeah, I'm having fun.
We'll do some more of this. So we'll try with you. Capsize.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Alex, you're pretty mellow tonight, man.
It's my old age. I've been up since early this morning doing a lot of work, and
Public servant.
Used to, I got really upset about all this stuff, and I still do. But it's kind of like the burnout phase takes the edge off.
There you go.
Right. Hey, I just had a real quick question, Alex. What do you think about Michael Moore winning the Palme d'Or of Cannes with your ideas?
There you go.
Well, that was actually even the New York Post said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't want to say it was my idea. I mean, I had the first video out on it, the most comprehensive. I was talking about 9/11 in July of 2001, 2 months before it happened, right here on this channel, saying call the White House, tell them don't blow up the World Trade Center using their agent Bin Laden. I mean, that's my sources. But I haven't seen the film. I've talked to folks that have seen it, and it's everybody's idea. Good for Michael Moore to go tell the truth. I mean, there's 100 books written about the Mansons, and so it's not a ripoff of somebody else to write a book about the Mansons.
It got heard.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't think Moore. They're saying Moore ripped me off. We do know that Moore's got the videos. We do know he's talked about it. But, good for him. The problem is Moore at the back of his Hey Dude, Where's My Country, the book that's made into Fahrenheit 9/11, is he says, well, we need the UN to occupy America and the UN to come save us from the evil right-wingers. That's the scam. It's meant to come out to a certain degree to then act like America did it when America was only used as the hand puppet of the big power system in Europe that owns us.
It's the same situation that you're talking about before with history books. It's the same scenario.
It's the
good
same.
Guy, bad guy, good cop, bad cop.
That's it.
That's welcome to America. God bless. Well, let's do some music video, man. These people like rock and roll around here. This is a good friend of mine, Crow and Glenn Benavides. Glenn, formerly of many great Austin bands, all of them probably had Alejandro Escovedo in them, and Crow, former member of Dogshit Rangers and Agony Column.
And stay with us right here on Capzeye with Mr. Pruitt. I'm Alex Jones. You're not a slave. Stand up and be heard.